In this video, we're going to talk about setting up home builder accounts for the first time. Also, we were going to set up a job for the first time inside of a home builder account so you can see how that works. So the first thing we want to do is log back into REMS. So we're going to use the JStark at teslaelectric.com, and then we are going to put his password in. Alright, so once we put this password back in, we're back to our main home builder page. On this page, we still don't have anything on the home builder account page yet, but that's going to change right now. So the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to click on Add New Account. So we're going to click on that. And on the new home builder account page, you can see basic information that deals with the home builder. First thing is going to be the company name. Then you're going to have the builder's contact name, the builder's phone number, builder email, address, city they're located in, and then the state and zip code. Below that is the percentage of markups, which we're going to talk about here shortly. But let's go ahead and start setting up the builder account. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the builder's name. So we're going to call this Original Homes. Okay. And then the contact information on this is going to be John Smith. So we're going to do John Smith for the contact. Next one's going to be the phone number, and that's going to be the 291-1111 that we've set in there. And then we've got our builder email of the jsmith@originalhomes.com. Then their address, the 23 shots, don't need that in there. And then we've got our city of Des Moines, our state, and our zip code. So this is all the information that you would have for this builder. Now, one thing to talk about right out of the gate is on the home builder account, all this information is propagated to each of the jobs that you will set up under this home builder account. So you don't have to enter this information in every single time. Also, this information is transferred to billing addresses for the builder and sending out those jobs as well. So all this information is important towards the reports and different things like that. The email is important because on that situation, when you are sending out those estimates, it will propagate the email line to your contact over at Original Homes. But that information can be changed as well. We'll talk about that a little bit longer once we get into the actual job status. But this is all the information that you'll need to set up the home builder. The next two lines down, which we'll do a little discussing here, is on percentage markups for the home builder and a percentage markup for the builder. Now, what this means is in the earlier videos when we were talking about setting up the assemblies. On our opening prices for our receptacles and switches and things like that, we set the base price at the lowest point that we would want our estimators to go. So when they're doing those assemblies, they're not allowed to adjust that opening price lower than that, because at that point, that's as low as you will go as an administrator to say, this is our opening price. So this gives you the opportunity for each builder to say, I'm going to charge this builder X amount of percentage higher than all those base prices are set at. So in this situation, we're going to set this builder at 8% higher. So we have 8% markup beyond the point of where we wanted those openings. On our, you can set that to whatever you want. Every one of those openings will readjust and on their estimates and invoices to the percentage of that 8%. And also what it will do too is, instead of doing a bunch of change in the middle of those, it will round it up to the nearest dollar amount. So if you're 875, it's going to bring, or excuse me, if you're 2650, it's going to bring you to $27 for that opening, just to let you know. So that's how we have that set up for our builders. And then the next line here, this is for the builder themselves so that they can put a markup on a customer. When we're doing customer walkthroughs, say the homeowner says, okay, well, I saw your plan, but I want to change this outlet and I want to add 2 can lights. Well, what this will do is on the tablet when they're doing at the walkthrough, they will see the price of the percentage markup. So what you're basically going to have is you had the 8% for the builder, and then on top of that percentage is going to be X amount of percent more to that opening for the builder to make money. This is a processing fee for most builders. They want to keep the plans the same. They don't really want to do a lot of changes. So if the customers are changing things, they want to make money too. So what this allows you to do is for the tablet to show that, say we put this 20% higher, that opening is going to be 20% higher for the customer to see. Now when it's invoiced out to the builder, they're going to see it back at the original amount of 8% higher than where you set those original openings. So I know that's a little confusing. Once you start playing with it a little bit, it gets really easy to understand. And it's just a way so that if this builder, does quite a few homes, and the next builder comes along and he may do 1 or 2, and you don't know anything about him, you may charge him 15% more than those openings. This just gives you a way to move it around. Now also too, this is this right now is set at a global change. So globally, all the jobs that you start will have the 8% and in this case the 20% for the customer markup. But each job can be edited individually, and we're going to get into that a little bit as we're setting up a job. But I want to go ahead and kind of explain that to you, how that works. So now we've got all that information in there, and we're just going to go ahead and click submit. So the builder account was created successfully. You can see now on your home builder page, we now have original homes. This is how it'll look each time you add a new builder. A box will appear next to the other one showing you, and then it'll just row down and you can go page to page of different builders. So depending on how many builders you work with or how many people have you estimate for them, this will be how it looks. So we have our first builder account. When you're in anything else, if you were to go back to the admin dashboard will bring you back to home builder account, and this is how you're going to see that every time, and how every time once you first log into REMS, you're going to see all your home builder accounts. Same principles that we've had in the past when dealing with setting up users or setting up vendors. This window currently will show you the delete. Same thing will apply. Once we actually have a job set up on this account, you are no longer able to delete this. Really, this is the only opportunity to delete. Maybe you made a mistake and or you created it twice for some reason and you need to delete because you haven't added any jobs to it. Once you add a job to it, you no longer have the ability to delete it. You just have the ability to disable it. So this will turn into disable once we put that first job in there. So that is what we're going to do now. We're going to go to the next step of, we're going to add a job under original home so that you can see exactly what that looks like. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to click into original homes. Now once we're into original homes, you can see this is going to be the page for the actual builder projects. So all those are going to be tracked inside a sub menu of original homes. So that way it keeps it nice and clean for you on all your jobs. They're quick and easy to find. It's just a nice clean way to do it. On the sidebar you can see original homes account. It gives you some of their contact information in there. Gives you the ability to edit their account when you click into that. So we can edit in their information if we wanted to, but we're not. Click back in there, and then when we're in there as well, we can still currently delete. Like I said, it'll change into disable, and then view projects, which we'll go over that once we have some more jobs in the system too. So if you're in a current project and you were to go back and view project, it'll take you back to the list of all the projects under that builder. So is how that works. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to set up a new job. So what we want to do is we want to click on Add New Project. So on the Add New Project screen, you see familiar information from what we just talked about with the setting up the builder information. You can see that the builder contact information propagated into this screen. You know, obviously the original homes, who our contact is, the builder's contact, and their email address. Now, one thing on this is each job could have potentially somebody different than you're working with over at that home builder, whether they have multiple estimators, you know. So you can go in, delete this information out, put a different name, different number, and even a different email account if you're going to be working with this person in particular more on this job than the person that's propagated in, which is John Smith. Down at the bottom, we also have a little bit more information too, which we're going to leave blank when filling this out right now, just because I want to demonstrate this on tablet for you as well in later videos. So what this information is going to be is for you when you're doing the customer walkthroughs. You were to make changes and there's a customer change report that needs to go out and things like that off a tablet. This information will be propagated into tablet for you, whether you put it in now or you'll have the ability to edit it into a tablet later if you like while you're doing your walkthrough. So the first thing that we're going to do, we're going to set up the project name. Now there's two kinds of information here which deals with the project, and that's going to be the project name, which in most companies is going to be whatever you're going to use for your PO or your purchase order, you know, however you're tracking this in your system. And then obviously the address. Now the current company I work with in QuickBooks, we track all of our information through residentially through our addresses. So that's the way I'm going to keep it, just for demonstration. You can put whatever information in here you feel is best for you to do your own tracking. So we're going to type this in, and it's going to be 145 Etron Lane. Now you can also see that we put a description after this. I usually put what type of plan. Reason I put this in here is, for one, if you're searching through jobs out on the search bar, you're able to identify with a phrase or something that's in that project name or in the address title or something, and it'll bring up all the different examples. This is handy when you've got a plan that you've done before and you kind of want to review it a little bit before you start laying out the next one, or maybe you want to turn that plan into an actual template to be used for that next one, because you know all that information is going to be exactly the same and going to save you some work. But that's why I normally do that. I have some builders that give a long code reference number that's, you know, the code means elevations and how many bedrooms and what side the garage is on, that type of thing. So whatever information is going to make it easiest for you to find it later, that's going to be the best way, you know, to do it. So just keep that in mind when you're putting that in there. You have a long amount of characters that you can use too. A lot of times I'll have this whole line completely filled up. So next thing we're going to put in is the address. So it's just going to be the 145 Etron Lane again. So we're going to type that in there. And so we have our plan information in there, and then, like I said, we're going to leave this propagated information in there. Homeowner information we're going to leave blank for now. Now, on the last thing we talked about with the global markups for the builder, it's been propagated in there automatically for you. Now, this is your chance though, if on this particular project you wanted to change this markup. Say say this house is 2 hours away from your shop or whatever, and you're going to put a higher percentage than you normally do for this builder, whatever the circumstances, or the house is just much more complicated. This is a chance for the estimator to be able to move it up even higher, or maybe move it down. They can never go below 0, but they can go up to 100% markup if they wanted to. So it just is this is the point where you could do any of that. You can also change the home builder markup as well if you wish to, or yeah, this is the homeowner's markups, sorry, if you wanted to change that too at this point. Now, one thing that I want to bring to your attention is this is the best time to do this. And what I mean by that is you can edit this number after you've already done your layout and that type of thing, but I would never recommend changing this number once you've sent out that estimate. Reason being, if you send out that estimate and then you were to go change that percentage of markup, when you send out the invoice, you might get the phone call that says, why is the invoice jumped up so much higher than the estimate? Especially if you show them the detailed information, it's going to show them each one of those openings has went up. So you want to be careful about when you do this. But you know, maybe you've done the layout on this and you haven't sent out the estimate, and you're like, and you look at Profit Calculator and you see that just not making the percentage that you want to make. You can still go back in and edit this number up a little bit to get you where you want to be before you were to send out that estimate. So the next two lines we're going to talk about is uploading the project plan and uploads of other files. Now, the way that REMS was designed was, REMS is designed so that you can bring PDFs into this. This is the most common format that we get for plans that are sent to us. So when we designed REMS, that was one of the big things, is we want the easiest format that you're used to be part of it. It is the only format that it'll take. So if your customer sends anything to you in any other format, you may have to change it to a PDF before you can actually upload it to REMS. So we went with the most common, but we only went with one. So that's how that works. Next thing down is for uploading other files. Say you want to upload cabinet layouts or addendums or any amount of different information that might come from your builder dealing with the project. We allow you to upload two different files into REMS. So in this situation, I will show you the cabinet plans, the one we're going to use. Same thing, it has to be in a PDF format. It won't take Word or anything else, or Word documents, nothing else. The only format it will take is a PDF format. And then when you do that, you can click on this and choose another file too. So you can potentially have more than one, but no more than two, just because the amount of storage that we're storing currently, we don't want it just to be a file storage for everybody's PDF stuff. So next thing we're going to go ahead and, forgot to do that for you, is put our plan on there. Give me 1 second. We're going to put our plan example in there. And this is going to be, it's going to have all the pages, and we're going to talk about this here in a minute. One of the nice things about REMS is that you only need, well, we're only going to take the pages that we need out of this. So we'll talk about that in a minute too. The next lines down we want to talk about is our estimator. Now, the big thing here is an administrator has to be the one to add jobs into a home builder account. But an administrator can add an account for, he can be the estimator, or he can assign it to another estimator. He can assign it to anybody that has the ability to be an estimator. So anybody who has the rank of admin or estimator is in this list, then it'll give you that ability to put them in. So in this situation, we're just going to use John Stark. That's going to be the easiest way to do that. And then the next line down is going to be for our field managers. Now, our field managers, this is for the tablet. So later on, once we've set up a job, we can actually, after we've designed it, we can send it off to the tablet for walkthrough stage and for verifying stages and things like that. but we need to assign an estimate, or excuse me, a field manager. Now, in this situation, we're going to go with Frank Green. Frank has also got an estimator status too, but he can be a field manager. And then also too, one other thing that's kind of cool is you can actually have more than one field manager. Now we've limited it to two just to keep the traffic from getting confusing on how many people the plan can be passed off to. But if you were to hit the control key and then just click on the other person, so I'm going to make John Stark field manager as well. So, and that's a good point to bring up, is that, you know, on some companies the size may just be that John Stark is your estimator, he's your field manager, he does everything. And in some situations, you're going to have larger companies where you've got somebody adminning and you've got somebody estimating, you've got some people that are supervising out in the field, making sure that the work's getting done correctly. So that's the great thing about REMS. It's built for many different size companies. So it just gives you some different options. Now, back to this part about the field manager, to be able to have two of them, and once you get into some larger companies, you may have a field supervisor who's kind of handling rough-in stages of houses, and you might have a trim staged field supervisor. So they can potentially pass these projects back and forth to each other on tablet. Now, the pass off deals with, we only ever want to have one person with access of the file at one time. The risk to that is if John is still making changes on it, and Frank is out making changes in the field, and they're not communicating correctly, we can have some problems. So that's why when we're passing it back and forth, only one person at a time can have it, but certain people can see that they will be able to see it. Tablet will only actually show you what jobs you've been assigned to, and then it'll let you know when it's been passed off to you. So you could have 300 different jobs inside your web version for the estimator, but Frank may only be able to see 50 of them because he was only assigned 50 of them. So that's how that works. Kind of keep some of the information a little confidential, about what's going on, so it's not just, common knowledge of how estimates and things are being done outside the building. So that's how that works. So we've set up all of our information for our job, and now we're going to go ahead and we're going to click continue. Now when we click continue, this can take a couple seconds. You can see down in the left hand corner there's a bar that's showing you how much is being uploaded. What that is right now is it is uploading the plan into the software. It's uploading our not only the plan, but it's also uploading our cabinet layout. So my internet's a little slow in here tonight. It's usually a little faster, but once this is done, then we'll be getting to the relevant pages where we can pick which pages that we're going to use for the plan. Alright, so it's done uploading. Just give it 1 second here. We're going to get our relevant pages. Alright, so now Relevant Pages has loaded all the pages of the PDF. You can see that a lot of the pages are items that may not necessarily deal with anything that we're going to be actually editing on. So we can sometimes get plans on certain PDFs that maybe have 20 to 30 pages. You're not going to need all that information. Most of it is a packet for everybody who's doing work on it. In this case, we just need a couple clean pages that we can actually put a design on. So in this case, we know that page 4 and 5 is our pages. So we're going to go ahead and highlight those, and then we're going to hit continue. Now REMS is going to save which pages that we're going to use. And so the nice thing about that is when we're sending out estimates to our customer, it's only going to send what we want them to see, just the pages that we wanted to edit in there. And it'll also add, it'll add the cover page of our legend, and our legend will show all of our symbols that we placed on that plan. So it makes a nice packet of information to give to the customer. All right, now relevant pages is done. Now it's brought us back out to our Home Builder Projects page, and we can see now that 145 Etron Lane has been added into our builder page. And what I was talking about earlier on this page is gives you the search project. You can actually just narrow this down to a certain type of plan. Once you have several plans on this page, you're going to see quite a bit of information. So, and it'll give you pages and pages, but you can narrow it down very fast by what style it is. And you also have different sort options, so you can sort by project name. You can put all your projects in their status, in the status of where they're at, as far as if they're in rough-in or if the plan has been accepted, all those different types of things. You can even put when dates were created, so it'll put in the order that it was created or updated. So yeah, it's a nice little feature for you. It makes it nice and quick to find them. So now we've added that home builder. We've added our first job, and we want to click into this job. I want you to click on that button, and it's going to take you into the actual job itself. Now, we're not going to get into a ton of detail in this video, but I just wanted to give you kind of a quick look of how it looks once you're in a job. Obviously, we have our overview here. It gives you project information. Homeowner information still blank, but we'll get to that later once we get into after we've taken the job. Like I said, in most cases, we don't even normally have the homeowner information when somebody's asking for an estimate from a builder. We get that information later once we have to start interacting with them. So right now, just for this purpose, we're going to leave it blank. And then gives you your home builder information, who we've assigned as the estimator, who the field managers are, project status, and then what our markups on this plan were. So now, like I said, we can still go in and edit any of that information. So if we clicked on that, if we click on edit project info right now, we can go in and get a look at what we've got going. So we can have the it'll let us see our project name, address, things like that. You can even at this point change. For some reason, if you realize that you uploaded the wrong plan, you can click on, you could add that plan back in there. And we can even, one of the nice things is too, is we can change our plan still. We can add that other file. We can even change estimators and our project managers. So this information can be changed at any time. Say we realize we don't want Frank as our field manager, so we're just going to do John, and we're going to do Jake. So we can change that here, and then if we hit update, we'll get a message that says, would you like to update the plan or continue using the old plan? Now, this is important. If you are not wanting to change the plan, which we didn't, you want to hit no. The other information will still change. If we were to hit yes, it will take and start trying to, in this situation, since it's still showing it's the old plan, it will load the old plan again. But if we made any changes on that estimate, it would affect it and put it back to normal, back to square one. So we want to put no, but I will show you once we do that. We hit no and it's going to update. And when we go back out to the main screen, we can see that now Jake is one of the field managers. So you can pass this back and forth from estimator to estimator as long as you're an admin. An estimator cannot pass it back to another estimator because he's been assigned. Later in the videos, we'll talk a little bit more about handing them back and forth. Right now, I just wanted to kind of show you what that looked like. So now also we can see on this page, we'll be able to build our panel schedule. We'll get into that a little bit more once we have that ability. Right now we don't have a panel, we don't have any circuits, but we'll talk about that a little bit more once we get to that point. So I'll show you how that works. Back on the main page, we can see our options. We have our plans and other files, and if we were to click on this, this will show us that this will be where we can actually go in and start editing on that plan. And in the next video, we'll go in and actually edit a plan. We'll lay out the whole thing so you can see exactly what it looks like and how Editor works. Down below, you can see our share file, or our view file of our other files. That's that cabinet layout. So if we click on that, that will show us that cabinet layout. As you can see, there's our cabinet layout, so it's saved that for us so that we can see that. One second. And then we have down here is where our plan access, where we can actually be able to switch it over to our field managers. Right now it shows you that John Stark is the estimator by the green key. If our field manager has it, this turns to a red key. So and then when they are done, they can pass it back and forth back to John on off the tablet. So, and we'll get into more detail on that. And then once active, we were able to get our edit done, we can actually hit our share plan, and that will take us to a page where we can email out to our home builder to send off our estimate and our actual layout. So that's what this page looks like. If we go to our reports page, this is all the list of different reports that we have, and we'll go into more details with that once we actually do a layout. But we've got several different choices as far as our pick list and our estimates and our invoices, customer change order to the builder, profit calculator report. So you got a lot of different choices that deal with this particular plan. And like I said, in the next video, we're going to go over a lot more about that. We all have our profit calculator. Right now, obviously, we haven't done anything, so it's showing 0, but it's a really nice tool to use when after you've got done doing an estimate. And we've added a new feature to this actually, so pretty excited to talk to you about that as well in the next video. You'll get a kick out of it. It's really nice for down the road. And then the last button that you'll have in here is changing statuses. Status changes are important for when you're working with your field managers and your estimators, for them to be able to let you know quickly in the menu if the plan was accepted, you know, what stages they're in, so we know for billing, different things like that. So we can actually change those statuses and then leave a comment on there, and it'll give a little comment line of who left the comment, what date and time it was left. And it just deals with these different statuses. A last status down here too that we'll talk about in following videos is going to be the project template stage. Project template stage is a nice feature because once you get in a situation where you start doing many layouts that are, say you've got a home builder who builds the same plan 25 times, you can actually make one of those plans a template and then be able to use that template over and over for the next plan. So that way each plan is in the system, because once obviously a customer's involved, and they may have changes different than the other plan. So it's a really quick way that you don't have to redesign every time, just that one more factor to save your estimator a ton of time. Always to be able to know that this is where we start, and after here this is where we end. So that was a nice feature that we got added in, and I really think your estimators will enjoy it. So that is it for setting up your home builders and job accounts. hopefully this video was educational for you. A lot of stuff going on here, but you're getting close. The next videos are dealing with actually doing layouts. Since we have all of our assembly set up and now we have a job in, we're going to go and set up the job. So stay tuned for that. Like I said, if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to email us at support@tawconcepts.com. We'll make sure that we get anything answered for you that you might need. Thanks again for watching the video, and good luck.